everyone and welcome back to my channel. Recently I posted 2 enclosure builds, one for my tiger salamander Neville and one for my red-eyed crocodile skink Fugaku. I will include those up here as I had previously mentioned them, and I will include them down in the links below, or you could just go to my playlists and click on the Bioactive enclosure tours and you'll find them in there. Now because I built them bigger bioactives, they called for bigger enclosures, and so their 24 by 18 by 12 exoterras were vacant. My African fat toe geckos, Obella and Oberon, had previously been in 15-gallon aquariums, like standard aquariums, not exoterras, and so because a 24 18 by 12 is an upgrade not only in terms of space, but because it's front opening, which I always vouch for, by the way, front opening enclosures are just the best, but because I had those 2 enclosures and those 2 geckos, I figured I would build them new bioactives in those enclosures. So that's what this video is a tour of. So I'll get to show off 2 different types of bioactives today. So one has a DIY background and one has a flat background. Now I typically hate flat backgrounds and I go for a DIY one that's more textured 3D. But I wanted to showcase that you don't have to go that route if you'd like to do bioactive, but you want to do something more simple with the background and still make it look really good. I figured I could give that as an example and also save myself a little bit of work because DIY backgrounds take a lot of time and a lot of silicone, and I'm just so tired of silicone. So without further ado, oh, there is one more thing to say. Oberon is very testy and it's cold out, and so he's just like not vibing with hanging out. So you'll get to see Obella, but I don't think you'll get to see Oberon. I do apologize. I'll include some pictures of him, but I'm not the kind of person that's gonna like uproot my gecko just for a couple seconds of camera time. If Oberon wants to be left alone, Oberon gets to be left alone. So without further ado, please enjoy. Okay everyone, this is Oberon's 24 by 18 by 12 Exoterra with the DIY background. Oberon is in his little hot hide right now, so you're not going to get to see him. But let's go in for a closer look, and I think we're going to start with substrate. So the substrate is Josh's Frog's ABG mix, which you can buy from their website, and you can use code Jessica15, all capital letters by the way, to get 15% off your first purchase. Beneath Josh's Frog's ABG mix is a drainage layer, which is required for use with this substrate, and I use the Hydrotin clay balls. And you want to be sure to put a layer in between the ABG mix and the drainage layer. So I use mesh, but you can also use like that black, I don't know, planting fabric that people use in their gardens. You can also buy that at Josh's Frogs, by the way. And then on top of the ABG mix, I use Eco Earth mixed with organic topsoil, and then I sprinkle some leaf litter on top of that. I'm only very briefly going to talk about the background, which is a DIY background, which means I used multiple pieces of materials to create this background. It takes a lot of work, and in Obella's enclosure it's a lot easier, so if you want something easier than this for your first go, I recommend that. But this is a lot of fun if you are more artsy or creative or hands-on. But basically it's just cork bark, and then you put expanding foam in between the cork bark, and then you carve it with a carving tool, and then you smear it with silicone, and then you pack dirt into it. But that's all. It's very complicated sounding, but it's really not that bad once you do it a couple times. So now we're just gonna start off with the enclosure from this side to the next side. Over here you can see a fern, and then you can also see a little bit of a philodendron in the back. I will include the plants that I purchased from Josh's Frogs down below if you want them. There's also a little cork hide here to the side, and in the very back you can see a cork hide. That is actually the hot hide. As you can see, there's a part of the background missing. That actually opens up to a heater where Oberon can get his heat from. He is actually currently in that hot hide right now as I'm filming this. But yeah, that's his hot hide, and then right in front of that is another little hide, which he likes to snake from like his hot hide into this one and still be hiding from me because he's not a big fan of me these days. And now we're going to take a look at the center of the enclosure. Again, you can see another fern and some more philodendron. I honestly just chose very simple and easy to care for plants for this build because Oberon and Obella's builds were kind of like at the point of bioactive exhaustion for me, and I just wanted to get them done. But they actually turned out really cute anyway, so I'm really impressed with myself. Don't mind me gloating, I'm sorry. But again, you can see the DIY background pretty well here. You can see the substrate. You can see a piece of driftwood off to the side that creates like a nice little archway. It actually is quite larger in the back, but it's covered by philodendron, so you can't see. It creates a nice other hide for Oberon, and there's also a hide right in front of that one, another cork hide. So in total, he has 4 hides, 1 hot hide and then a couple cooler hides. And then he doesn't have a humid hide because the ambient humidity of the enclosure is sufficient for, keeping his sheds well. But I would say if you're keeping them on a non-loose substrate, a humid hide was probably pretty essential. But yeah, I really liked how it turned out. I think it's gorgeous, and I'll take you in for a closer look. Oh wait, actually here's a little bit of a better look of this side of the enclosure. You can see the driftwood a little bit better, and then you can see this small cork hide right here in the front. And you can also see his water dish off to the side. Okay, so here is a closer look of the various different plants, the background, the cork, the driftwood, the substrate, and the leaf litter, and there's the hot hide. As you can see, the opening in the back, like I said. Actually, the heater is on this entire side, so it creates a nice ambient. And this is Obella's enclosure, and right from the get-go you can see the big difference with the fact that it has a flat background. Obella is not as active as Oberon. In fact, Oberon holds the record in my house for the number of escapes and also how far he's gotten when he's escaped. And he's also a little bit of a biter, so he's got a real big personality. He likes to climb, he likes to try his hand at everything. So he got the DIY background because it would offer more texture for him to climb, whereas she got the flat background because I don't foresee her climbing anytime soon. But it's not ugly, it's just different. I prefer the DIY background, but you might prefer this cork background, and that's okay. It's still a really good looking enclosure in my opinion. So like with Oberon's, I'm going to start with the substrate. She has the exact same substrate situation, but I'll go over it one more time just in case you want me to. So the bottom is the drainage layer. It's the hydrogen clay balls, and then I use mesh, and then I use Josh's Frog's ABG mix. Oh my god, I completely forgot to mention that it's bioactive because there's a cleanup crew. So in both of the enclosures, they have dwarf white tropical isopods and springtails. My apologies. So then on top of the ABG mix, there is organic topsoil and leaf litter. Also, the organic topsoil is mixed with Eco Earth. That's just to help, get it along, because there's so much work that has to go through cleaning the organic topsoil I get from Home Depot. So I just like to make it spread out a bit, so it doesn't go so fast. So we'll start on this side of the enclosure. You can see a little calcium dish off to the side, which reminds me Oberon's was not in his at the time of filming this just because it needed to be cleaned because he pooped in it. So his wasn't in there, but he does have one. And then she also has a philodendron Brazil. She also has a Swedish ivy. Swedish ivy, is that what it's called? I don't know. Again, I'll put it in the links down below. I'm horrible at remembering plant names. And then she has a rounded, I think it's called a hut, but basically it's just a hide that again works like Oberon's and opens up to the back of the enclosure and allows for heat to come in. And then she also has these 2 pieces of wood, which were both from Josh's Frogs. They do not sell them anymore, at least they're not available right now, but I really want them to be because I want to get more. So in the center of the enclosure, you can see another tiny little philodendron. I had a little extra bit, so I was like, let's hope it stays here and thrives, but we'll see. And then you can see another philodendron back there. You can see a rounded hide in the middle and then one in the back as well. The one in the back is actually a piece of cork, and the one in the middle is actually like a small hut. And then she also has another Swedish ivy over there to the side. Here you can also see her partially filled water dish. I need to top it off tonight when I feed her, which I actually have a clip of, so I will include that. And then her background is cork tiles. So I purchased cork tiles. I think each one is 12 by 18 and I think they're by Zoom Ed. And then I just adhered them to the background with aquarium safe silicone. Now again, this is a more flat background. If you don't like this, that's okay. But either one works. Like, this is just as much of a bioactive as Oberon's. Here you can see that part of the background was carved out so that the heat could come through for her hot spot, and it was originally covered by dirt, so you didn't see that ugly white writing, but she completely burrowed and dug it all out, so it is what it is. But like Oberon's, her heater is on the entire side of the enclosure and it creates a nice ambient temperature. But this is Obella's enclosure and I hope that you liked it. Now I'm going to go show you feeding her.
Hello, Missy. Are you ready for the super world? I know that you are. Here's a delicious one for you. Hey, up here. Nope, I can't see you on camera if you don't look up here, Goofy. There you go, good girl. Good girl. Yes, you got it, you got it.
And here is a photo of my precious Oberon back when he was in the 15-gallon Bioactive, also back when he was doing all of his record-breaking escapes. And then this is a photo of the bite Oberon gave me a couple times ago when I handled him just to make sure he was good. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing my updated bioactive enclosures for my African fat-tailed geckos. If you like them, please leave a like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. And also leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. Did you like the 3D background, the DIY background, or the flat background better? And are you interested in seeing how I made the DIY background? Because I'm going to build more bioactives, of course, and I'm going to film the process of how I built the backgrounds and how I built the bioactives, which everybody says they're interested in, but I posted how I built my stream areas the other day. I'll include it up here, and it got very, very poor reception. Not like people didn't like it, but just nobody clicked on it. So if builds are something that you're interested in, please let me know down below, because even if there's a little bit of interest, I'll still put the videos out. So that's all there is to say for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!